it's Corinne with Thompson RV in Pendleton, Oregon. Today I am here to show you a brand new 2026 Backcountry 25 DVS in the Titanium series. So this is a brand new 2026 model, and if you are new to our channel or to the Outdoors RV products, the Backcountry series is going to be the line that Outdoors RV produces that have a built-in generator. So there's a few things you're going to get on a Backcountry above and beyond, say, a Timber Ridge. Most of them are Timber Ridge floor plans that are then converted to Backcountries. So you're not going to see any Backcountries with the generator that are the Blackstone floor plans, right? So if you're looking for something with 2 or more slide outs, something really big, that's going to be the Blackstone, no generator. But if you're looking in that Timber Ridge lineup, there's quite a few floor plans that actually are produced in the Backcountry as well. So if you're the type of person that you want to be able to boondock wherever, whenever, have power at the push of a button and have that onboard generator, and then also they upgrade the water tank from 80 gallons up to 100 gallons. And then there's a few other things I'll point out along the way. But a few years back, they also started making the Backcountry series with the titanium upgrades. So that is a package that Outdoors RV produces on top of their quality travel trailers that they already produce. You can order a titanium package, which is going to be your high-end trim level. So your auto leveling, high gloss fiberglass. You're going to get upgraded cabinetry, solid surface countertops throughout the whole trailer, a little bit different colors on the interior, backup camera, side marker cameras, larger air conditioner, digital thermostat, reading lights, the list goes on and on and on. So I will actually link down below a video of the titanium upgrades that you get when you go titanium series. And then I will also link a video to the Timber Ridge 25 RDS. So if you're watching this video and you're like, this is so wonderful, but I don't really have a need for a generator, the 25 RDS floor plan would be perfect for you. Or if you love this floor plan in a fifth wheel, we have the Glacier Peak F26 RDS. Or if you really want a bedroom closet slide out and a little bit more space in the bedroom, they make that in the Blackstone 250 RDS. So I will link all of those things down below so that you can see what options you have. So this is a double door model. You're going to enter through a rear door right here, and that opens right up into the rear dinette. So in the Backcountry series, if you get confused with all of the numbers and letters, the DVS stands for a dinette view slide. In the Timber Ridge or the Blackstone, the RDS is just going to be rear dinette slide. So same thing, just a little bit different numbers and letters. That way we know exactly what you're talking about. If you call and you're looking for an RDS versus a DVS, we know you're looking for the Timber Ridge and not the Backcountry. So this is going to be Outdoors RV's signature mountain dinette. As you can see, it's over 7 feet long. So it makes into a very nice bed if you have other people traveling with you. The table that they use is rock solid. They use heavy duty marine grade table bases and table legs. The construction of the dinette, just like everything Outdoors RV, it's going to be overbuilt. So in lesser quality brands, the dinette can often be a point of being very flimsy. So underneath the dinette, the foam, so the foam is high density foam, so you're not going to get those big divots. You're going to get window route outs here underneath. So rather than a thin piece of wood underneath, you're going to get an actual sidewall cutout from when they route out the windows. So that is actually this wall, but just repurposed into dinette bases. On each side, you're also going to get a locking drawer on heavy duty ball bearing drawer guides. Again, that has a nice lock. So if you need to put heavier stuff in these particular drawers, they're going to lock. Also, you have solid hardwood faces on those drawers. The other thing I'd like to point out is that Outdoors RV tries to use the largest windows possible. So this window in the back is a nice big picture window, and all of the windows open. So you're not going to get any cheap windows that are just to look out but don't actually open, because they know how important it is to get a good cross breeze. The windows on the titanium, which I'll show you on the outside, they're all dual pane. They're also tinted. And then from the outside, you can see that they're a much prettier frameless style window. When you come in the entry in a titanium has an elongated window. Then you also have a blackout shade. So this is the same for this particular door as well as the one in the bedroom. It's really nice in the bedroom to have a blackout shade on that window that's in the door. So right here, when you walk in, you're going to have kind of your little control panel. So this is going to be where you would start your generator, awning and slide out switches. You also have a remote on the titanium series that will run your awning and your slide out as well. So if you are traveling solo, what's super cool about that is if you're concerned that maybe you're going to hit something. I don't know how many times I've been, pushing the button here and trying to see if I'm going to run into anything with the slide out. You can just take the remote out there and actually push the button and run it off of the remote. That way you can see exactly where your slide out's coming out and if it's going to run into something or your awning. So those will both operate off of here. You have a light right here, and that's going to be for your awning, I believe. Nope, that's for right here. So you have your awning light will also operate off of this remote. And then right here you have your gauges for your tanks, as well as your water pump switch, and then LP and electric switches for your water heater. And then a fresh tank heater. So that's something that we option in at the factory, is a 12-volt heat pad for the fresh tank. Now, one thing to note, I get lots of questions, well, why don't all the tanks have heat pads? The tanks are fully enclosed and heated. So that's part of Outdoors RV's Big Four Seasons package. So you don't even have to worry about the tanks as long as you're running the heat here in the trailer. So if you're camping and obviously you're running the heat so that you stay alive, your tanks are going to be fully heated. This is simply for when you're traveling down the road, right? So if you're traveling, let's say you're going elk hunting and it's really cold, but you need to pack water because there's nowhere to fill up when you get there. Obviously, you don't need to have fluids in your black or your gray tank. Or if for some reason you do, you can chase them down with antifreeze, right? But your fresh tank, obviously you can't put antifreeze in it, so you need something to keep it heated while you're getting to your location. So you would flip on that little 12-volt heat pad. It would just operate at that point off the 12-volt from your truck and keep that tank from freezing until you get to where you're going, turn on the heater, and then everything's going to be fully heated and enclosed. Another thing on the titanium is that all of the windows are going to be trimmed out in wood, and you do have the slow rise blackout shades, just like you have in the door. Now coming over here, this can either be a sleeper sofa, or in this case, it's the theater seating. So let's say you are hunting and you've got hunting buddies, or you've got kids, mother-in-law, whatever, and maybe you don't want to make up and down the dinette. You can easily swap this out for a sleeper sofa. We can do that here for you. And then you have a nice bed that makes out. So it's a tri-fold sleeper sofa. But if maybe just one or two of you are camping and you really don't need an extra bed, the theater seating is going to be the most comfortable option. So you have a couple of can holders right here. You have storage in the middle. And then there is a little ripcord right here that you pull so that you can recline this. They're not necessarily wall huggers. So if you want to recline the back all the way down, you just have to bring it out from the wall about that far. And they are in 3 separate pieces. You can click them together, but somebody asked me just the other day if they do come apart, and they absolutely do. I've seen a lot of people who take this center console, push the 2 seats together and put the center console on one side or the other. That way it makes more of like a love seat. I guess it depends on how much you love your wife or husband and how close you want to be to them, but you can do that. And then right here you have extra storage. They call this a pantry. So if you need more storage than I'm going to show you in the kitchen, you can use this as a pantry. Personally, I used this for my 3 boys. They each had a shelf of clothing. And then you have a drawer down below. And then right here you have 12-volt and USB ports. Right here is kind of your little entertainment center. So we optioned in the fireplace on this particular unit. If you don't get the fireplace, you would just have 2 cabinet doors, and the cabinet would be about that deep, right? Again, titanium is going to have the solid surface not only here, but next to the bed as well as in the bedroom or the bathroom. CD DVD player right here, and it's not just a DVD player, so don't worry, it's not super old school, but you do have that option, which is great. But it also does Bluetooth to your phone, and then you can plug in HDMI or USB if you want to play something off of a device. another charge station right here. And then one thing to note about this as well as the TV is that they're fully 12 volt. So you don't have to run the generator in order to watch TV, which in a lot of off-brand units you do, but all of the outdoors RVs, with the exception of like maybe 1 or 2 fifth wheels that have the 50-inch flat screen, everything else is going to be a 12 volt TV. So it will run directly off the batteries. You have a little storage here and a little additional storage right up here. Coming over into the kitchen, if you've seen any of the other videos on this particular floor plan, you know that this is absolutely my favorite. Tons of counter space. So I feel like often in trailers, you're just gonna get a little bit of workspace, but this one has this whole extra section to the left of the stove. So this is a lot of counter space for this size of a trailer because the overall length is only 31 foot 2. And I feel like you get pretty much everything you need in a trailer in this particular floor plan. So you have a flip up countertop extension here. You have a couple of drawers right down here. You have storage under the sink. And then there's a door on the back side as well to access the back. And then you have another bank of 3 drawers right here with a silverware tray in the top drawer. And then the kitchen sink, you're gonna get these nice sink covers. So that gives you extra counter space while you're not using the sink. And then you get the single basin stainless steel sink with the wire rack in the bottom. The titanium is going to come with more household style faucets. So this has the pull-out sprayer, single lever, but just a really nice feel. So in the bathroom and in the kitchen, you're gonna get more of that household feel. And then again, the titanium has the upgraded cabinetry, which is hard to tell in a video, but I get people that buy these sight unseen all the time. And the first thing they say when they get to Thompson RV is, oh my gosh, it looks even better in person than it did on all the videos. So it's something I can't really portray through the video, but it's a solid hardwood in this door. So it's not just a flimsy piece of paneling. So you can see all of the knots that would be in the wood. But the other thing too is just the opening and closing. It's really a nice tight fit. And you can tell that they're just nice, thick hardwood doors. So storage up above here, stainless steel appliances in the titanium series as well. And then again, this extra space over here not only gives you additional counter space, but you get this extra cupboard up above and then this huge one down below. What I love about this one is low cabinets, in my opinion, are kind of where it's at. So if you're packing a griddle, air fryer, something big that's heavy, obviously you're not going to want to travel with it up high. So it's really nice to have that storage down low to where that's going to be safe and secure. Plus you have a little shelf in there for extra storage. Backsplash behind the stove, knife rack, and then this is a gas stove, so don't cook on the glass portion of it. That's just if you're not cooking, you can keep this closed and have additional counter space. But in order to cook, you're gonna flip that right open, and then you have this nice cast iron surface to cook on. The titanium, one other really cool thing about the oven on this one is that you don't have to get under here and light a pilot light like you do on the Mountain series. It's all direct spark ignition to light that pilot. So that is something that a lot of our customers absolutely love. And then you also have the stainless steel pot and pan drawer down below. And of course, a microwave. Oh, and then for 2026, some of the new things are going to be the little bit lighter flooring, a little bit lighter carpet, and then the new refrigerator. So I am loving this fridge. It has the bottom freezer on it. And then, as you can see, tons of space in here, nice drawers, bins. It's all 12 volt. But what's also cool, not as important in a floor plan like this, but let's say you get up from bed and you just want a glass of bottled water or something, you can just get right into the fridge from either direction. So maybe not as important on this floor plan, but some of the other floor plans that maybe you're looking at, super handy to have access from both sides. Again, digital thermostat. with the 15K air conditioner in the titanium series. And then quite a few of the titanium upgrades are going to be here in the bedroom. So you get a $1,200 upgraded mattress. Absolutely my favorite mattress. I have the home style version at home because I fell in love with the mattress out of my trailer, and so did my kids. They all have them in their rooms as well. Again, titanium's going to have the solid surface countertops on each side of the bed, but more importantly, you're going to get reading lights. So I love that these are directional. So if you read in bed at night, you can focus on your book and have the light on your book rather than having your partner yelling at you to please turn off the light. So that's super cool. And then also under cabinet lighting. Another bedroom titanium feature is going to be the 12-volt TV here at the foot of the bed. This also has a DVD player in the side. And then, as with all of the outdoors RVs that have the north-south facing bed, you're going to have a wardrobe closet on each side of the bed as well as storage up above the bed. And then because this is a backcountry, on this side of the bed, you're always going to have a pistol safe. Now, it always comes on this side, but if you need it on the other side, we can add an additional one if you want. We stock those here at Thompson RV. And then also on each side of the bed, you're going to get two 110 outlets, a 12-volt outlet, and USB ports. There's also storage underneath the bed. Not quite as much on a backcountry because the nightstands are going to come a little bit further out because of the generator, which I'll show you when we get to the outside. Right here is a place to kick off slippers or shoes to get them out of the walkway. And then on each side of the bed, you're going to have a drawer. So that's a great place to store socks and underwear. We option all of our units in with the MaxxAir Deluxe vent fans. So that's going to operate off of a remote, 10 speeds, fully automatic, has a lid over the top so you can run it going down the road, going in the rain. Dirt and debris and leaves don't get stuck in there. So that is a fabulous option. We option it into all of our units. The other thing I love about this model, as well as the 25 RDS Timber Ridge and the 250 RDS Blackstone, is going to be the coat closet here at the foot of the bed. So you have a drawer underneath, you have a shelf, then you have a removable shelf with hanging space. So if this isn't quite long enough, you can just remove that shelf and hang longer items. In the bathroom, you're going to get the porcelain toilet, and as you can see, there is plenty of leg room. You're also going to get a heat duct in the floor as well as an air conditioning duct in the ceiling, so the bathroom is always going to stay the same temperature as the rest of your trailer. You have some storage down here under the sink, as well as additional storage right here with a hidden toilet paper holder. Again, titanium solid surface countertops with an underslung stainless steel sink, and then also the magnifying vanity mirror. Custom built medicine cabinet, towel hook right here, as well as two behind the toilet. And then there's a little space in between the shower and the wall, and they've given you two towel hooks here, which is great because that's a nice little use of that space. The other thing is, so again, when we order in the MaxxAir fans, you're going to get a 4-speed exhaust only here in the bathroom. That's going to operate off of the wall switch. And then the other thing I love about Outdoors RV is they're going to give you a pump switch here in the bathroom as well. So you know that pump switch right inside the door. I don't know how many times my kids have jumped in the trailer, forgot to turn on the pump, have to use the restroom, and then they're like, Mom, I forgot to turn on the water, right? So now you have a pump switch right here as well. So if you forget to turn it on out there, you can just turn on the water pump in here. The Neo Angle glass shower is a great shower to have in a floor plan where you're trying to keep the overall length shorter. So it's a nice little footprint, but at the same time, you have a ton of elbow room. So there's plenty of working space to wash your hair. You have plenty of ceiling height because Outdoors RV has such tall ceilings. And then you have the skylight for additional headroom if you need it. And then the titanium is going to come with the upgraded hardware. So you have the adjustable shower head as well as soap dish. and then the little bench or footstool right here. So not only do people come all over the country to Thompson RV to purchase their outdoors RVs because of the high quality, but also for the ceiling height. So 6'11" ceilings, and they're not slacking on any kind of insulation. So they use heavy duty trusses built right here in Oregon, and they have a full walk-on roof, and you get insulation all the way down to the edges of the roof. One thing is that if you do come out here to Oregon, you can also take a factory tour. So there is a factory tour, That Adventurous Way, made on YouTube that you can watch if you don't have the luxury of coming out to Oregon. But if you can, I would highly recommend taking a plant tour, because there's a lot of quality things on an outdoors RV that you can't see. There's things that I can't show you in this video that seeing them built from the ground up in stages you can really see, such as the plumbing, the way they do their electrical, how closely together their heavy-duty trusses are, the plywood that they use for the ceilings. Just in the last 2 days, I've had multiple people comment about how sturdy the floor feels. That's something that I take for granted because we've always sold high-quality products, and outdoors RV is pretty much all we do now because it's the only product that we truly, truly believe in here at Thompson RV. So I take for granted that when people are out at shows and they're walking through all of these lesser quality trailers, that the floors feel spongy. I hear comments about people telling me that the brand of trailer that they were looking at, you can't haul with the water tanks full, which absolutely blows my mind. Where on earth are these people going that they can go somewhere and not have a full tank of water? Outdoors RV, because they build their own chassis, so they're not purchasing Lippert chassis like everybody else in the industry. Even your luxury trailers are still all built on Lippert chassis, right? Outdoors RV and Northwood over in La Grande have their own chassis manufacturer. So they manufacture them in their own spot, in their own location. So they build chassis for Arctic Fox and Nash, as well as Outdoors RV. That's what gives them a better tow, because they design every single chassis per floor plan, but also it allows them to put in a 100-gallon freshwater tank that is well placed. That's the other thing, is I just had a gentleman telling me the other day he had a brand that I won't name, and the water tank's in the back. So anytime he fills up the water, all of his weight, even with his equalizing hitch, is totally screwy and his trailer tow's terrible. Outdoors RV always places their freshwater tanks over the axles. That way you always get a tow, a good tow, if you're towing empty or if you're towing full. So there's a lot of differences between an outdoors RV and everything else. I just wanted to mention the ceiling height as well as the floor structure. But if you do have a chance to come out and take a factory tour, it is well worth it. Even people that come out and purchase their trailer, they still go and take a factory tour just because they want to see firsthand exactly how they do everything. Another thing that people love about this particular model is that with the slide out in, you can access the entire trailer. The only thing you can't really access is going to be that dinette side. And then also the cabinet that's right here where the TV is. Everything else is fully accessible. So if you want to get in the trailer, make a sandwich, get something out of the fridge, use the restroom, everything is fully accessible from either door. So one of the coolest things about the Titanium series is going to be the Lamelux 4000 High Gloss Fiberglass Exterior. So it's a shinier, thicker grade of fiberglass and has more of a gel coat type appearance. So very pretty, especially when you couple that with the backcountry graphics. I know I've said this in other videos, but the only downside to that is everybody is going to stop you at every gas station, every RV park, and they're going to ask you if they can look at your trailer, especially if you're on the East Coast and a lot of people over there haven't seen them before. So again, the fiberglass is different. The frameless windows have a more upscale appearance, and they are also dual pane. The other thing I love about outdoors RVs is they use the longest awning possible on all of their trailers, and that is wrapped in aluminum, so you're not going to have any of the fabric exposed to UV rays. The titanium series, you're going to get all chrome accents. But the most important thing, and probably the #1 reason people buy the titanium series, system. So when you get to where you're going, you just unhitch from your truck, push a button, and the entire trailer auto levels itself. So no more packing around blocks and rolling up on one side and getting out of your truck and seeing it's still on level, right? All of that, all those shenanigans, you can just throw those out the window. Auto leveling, push a button, auto levels, done. It's the coolest thing ever. Again, that's one of those things though, that if you're at a campground and everybody's watching you, they're gonna wanna talk to you about your trailer and how it auto leveled itself. So a newer item in the last year or so has been the new Torque Lift Glow Step. And I've been getting a lot of people asking me how this operates. So unlike the step that folds up into your trailer, this one actually folds right up and into the underneath of the trailer. So it latches just like that. The cool thing about this step is that there's multiple space spots that you can actually leave it. So if you want a light step up into the trailer, so not a very large distance, you can lock it into the very first notch. If you are in a location where you don't have a lot of space, you don't have to pull this all the way out. So like, let's say you have a shop and you need to not have too much space getting up in, or excuse me, space coming out this way. You can just pull it out part way, but then you can pull it out all the way. You can also have it to where it's just 3 steps. These are adjustable. So no matter where you are, like if you wanted to pull this out even farther, it's going to give you a little bit more of a step getting into the door. But if you're on very uneven ground where maybe it's dropping off this way, you can adjust those legs, pull it out a little farther. So it's going to be a rock solid step, really under any conditions. So that is the new step and that's how it operates. Again, chrome latches on the titanium, chrome grab bar handle. Right here, this is access and venting to your 10-gallon rapid recovery water heater. Right here is where you would fill your 100-gallon fresh water tank. Right here is going to be a couple of 110 outlets. And then something that they do not just on the backcountry, but on all of their units is going to be the off-road X-Force suspension package. So not only does Outdoors RV build a custom-built off-road chassis, this is going to be an 8-inch custom-built chassis, heavy-duty axles, but then the off-road X4 suspension package is going to be the MoreRide All-Trek 4000 suspension, heavy-duty shackles with bronze bushings, greasable zerts, and then the KYB off-road shocks. The off-road shocks are not just for off-road use, but also for body roll when traveling at high speeds down the freeway. 16-inch load range E Goodyear Endurance tires. And that will be the same package on the Blackstone, on the Timber Ridge, same package on the Creekside. The Creekside is just going to come with the 15-inch wheels and tires, but still load range E. So they've kind of gone above and beyond with their package. Also, they have the never adjust brakes, so the auto adjusting brakes, which is really important. I actually didn't know that brands were still using adjustable brakes. And I had a customer tell me the other day that in his off-brand, he went to use his trailer for the first time that year and didn't have any brakes and had to adjust them. And I didn't even know that was a thing. So I'm kind of spoiled with this Outdoors RV product. Everything is always just amazing. So I don't have to think about any of that kind of stuff. Access and venting to your furnace. Outside speakers, those are going to operate off of that Bluetooth CD player stereo inside. Right here through this hatch, you're going to have access to a quick disconnect LP hookup. So if you want to run a fire pit or a barbecue. And then again on the titanium series, you're going to get the side marker cameras as well as a rear observation camera. I get asked a lot if that will plumb directly into your screen in your Ford, Chevy, or Dodge. It does not. So it doesn't interface directly with your truck. It comes with its own monitor. So you'll have a special monitor that Bluetooths from these cameras into your cab of your truck, but onto a separate monitor. Insulated luggage doors with magnetic catches. And then also the slam latch catches for when it's shut. Shovel and axe holder, that's something specific to the Backcountry series, as well as the More Ride slide out tray. Now, the reason they do the tray on the Backcountry and not on the other Outdoors RV models is because on all of the other models, you're going to have a door on this side to access your storage as well as on the other side. But this model is going to have the generator on the other side, so you don't have access. So in order to access the area in there, that would sort of just be like a dead zone, you have the nice big heavy duty slide out tray. All of this is fully insulated because not only is the door insulated, but then all of this is as well, because that's your nightstand to your bed. So we don't need to be getting any drafts coming in through the luggage compartments. This particular unit is equipped with 400 watts of solar. That is the standard that Outdoors RV does on all of their trailers. A 400 watt unit can easily be upgraded at the dealer level to 600 watts. If you want to boondock a lot and you want to max out with 1,000 watts of solar, that has to come directly from the factory. You also have a port right here on the side that you can do an additional 200 watt portable panel. So that's always a good idea if you are somebody who really likes to park in the shade in the trees. You can take a portable panel and run it out into the sunlight. You can even follow the sun around during the day if you have time to move your solar panel all day long. The only thing about that is you do want to have a charge regulator built in to the portable panel because it's not going to operate through the charge controller here in the front compartment. Also here in the front compartment, you have a light, so an LED light strip that goes the full length. You have a battery kill switch, 12 volt and USB ports, as well as your auto leveling controls. And again, double slam latches. Because this is built on the 8-inch chassis, you're going to get the full fiberglass front cap. So you aren't going to have a seam right here. It's going to seam here at the side. So you have your sidewall and then your front cap runs all the way over the edge. That way you're never going to have any water intrusion, maybe in a driving rain going down the freeway right here at the corners. They put on the nice rhino lining too to protect your fiberglass front cap from any road debris. The toy lock right here is going to be a cable lock that latches onto itself with a padlock. So anything you take to camp, if you need to leave camp and you're a little bit worried about your belongings, you can just run that cable lock through them. The Backcountry comes standard with the off-grid battery tray. So you don't have to order that separately. It comes standard on the Backcountry. So then we can install here at the dealer level 3 of the 100 amp hour Battleborn batteries, the powder-coated aluminum lockbox that we have custom built here locally, and also the Battleborn Smart Hub. Now that would be our max package. So if somebody came to us and said, I want to be able to boondock whenever, wherever, and stay out as long as I want, we would recommend the 300 amp hour batteries. If you don't necessarily need that much, if you're not going to be boondocking, let's say in the off season. So if you're mainly just May through September, especially with the backup generator, you can get by with 1 or 2 batteries. One I always shy away from just because, I don't know, if you got caught somewhere and ended up being unplugged a lot longer than you thought, maybe even a natural disaster, I would rather have a trailer leave here with 2. But most of our customers just want to be prepared and set up for anything, so they go with 300 amp hour batteries. We typically do the Battleborn heated batteries, and those are intelligent. So you can use the Battleborn Smart Hub and directly link it to your phone via Bluetooth and check and see how long you can be out using the power usage that you've been using. So that's kind of a cool feature. 10-gallon tanks on the Backcountry series, so they're a little bit larger. That's because the generator is going to be running off of the propane. So it's a propane gen. Front power jack is going to be part of the auto leveling system. One thing I do want to mention is that when you have it auto leveled, the jack is supposed to be off the ground. I get a lot of people that when they're in the RV park, somebody comes over and tells them that their jack needs to be touching the ground. It actually doesn't. So when the auto leveling system is deployed, this is completely normal. You have the Wallace adjustable coupler, and then you also have this little hitch caddy. So you've got a place to dock your 7-way cord, your safety chains, as well as your breakaway cable when they're not being used. Over here, we have the Onan 3600 LP generator. Cool thing about an LP gen is that there's no carburetor, so they require less maintenance than a gas generator. So that is one of the best generators on the market. Right here, you've got your black tank flush. So after you've dumped your black tank, you can hook up a hose and really flush it out and get it nice and clean. Satellite and cable hookup. Right here is where you would hook up your 30 amp cord. And no, the backcountry is not available in 50 amp service, just 30 amp. That generator is a 30 amp generator. In order to make something a 50 amp, you'd have to go with a completely different gen. And that is not that I know of, that is not any kind of a plan for Outdoors RV at this moment. So these are all 30 amp. I would also say that to get 50 amp service so that you can get a second bedroom air conditioner, if you really see the insulation on an outdoors RV, you really do not need a second bedroom air on something of this size because they are so well insulated, not just for cold weather, but for extremely hot temperatures as well. You have a little light right here. You have your gray and black dump valve handles. So that all comes off of one 3-inch tube, but your handles for each are right there. Here is an insulated door that takes you to your spray port. So the backcountry is going to come with a quick disconnect blue coiled hose. So rather than an outside shower, you're actually getting like a high pressure spray port. Right here, we'll turn on the water pump that operates this. So it's a separate water pump than the one that you're using for the rest of the water in the coach. This is strictly for that high pressure sprayer. If you're staying in a park and you don't want to haul 100 gallons of water, here is where you would hook up to city water. Slide out topper. That is also a titanium feature. So that comes standard on all titaniums. So as you can see on the titanium, you're getting so many different features that come included in the package. It just makes sense, truly. I get so many people that maybe at first they think they want to save a little bit of money, so they're looking at a mountain series or a standard backcountry series. And then by the time they're like, well, I want a slide topper and I want a backup camera and I want to upgrade the mattress, at some point, you're better off to just purchase the titanium, right? Resale value on titaniums is better as well. There's less of them. They're more highly sought after. So there's quite a few reasons to go titanium. If you ever have questions on that, you can absolutely give us a call here and we can talk about it. 4-inch steel bumper with a cap right here so you can put your sewer hose in there for storage. Backup lights, that's also a titanium feature. So when you get to where you're going and you need to back into your space and maybe it's dark outside, that's going to actually illuminate your parking space, which is super important, as well as the rear observation camera. And then right here, you have a rear receiver hitch. So this is good for up to 250 pounds. So great for e-bikes. We get a lot of customers with e-bikes. And what's awesome about that particular package, that's called the mountain storage package. So it comes with the rear receiver hitch as well as that cable lock on the front, the toy lock. So that comes together as the mountain storage package so that you can offload your bikes and then you can lock them up with the cable up front. Full-size spare tire with a Thompson RV spare tire cover. So everybody out there knows you're part of the Thompson RV family. And then a heavy-duty ladder to get up and down off of the full walk-on roof. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to anybody here at Thompson RV. All of us own and use the Outdoors RV products. So anyone here that you talk to on the phone is going to be knowledgeable and can help you find the Outdoors RV of your dreams.